Alright, hello and welcome to the very first official video on the BR YouTube channel. Today we're going to take a look at how to base defense, since we've had a lot of guys asking on a proper base defense guide or video. So I'm going to share some of our tips that we have today. First thing to note is we're going to split the video into two. We're going to have a practical video where we show everything in praxis with examples and stuff like that, and then we're gonna have this video where today we're more gonna look at the theory, since we're not really battling right now and I can't really show things in theory or in praxis, so I need to show things in theory. So there are a few factors to a good base defense. The main of which I would say would be your army and your setup, and then obviously under that so your ground force, and then under that the units that you use on your ground force. And then next up would be your air force, and obviously under that would also be your research and development tree on the basic city defense, and when you get even further onto advanced defense and some of the military and combat defense or combat more offensive skills that give you a lot of damage and durability for your troops. So essentially what you want to aim for when you're doing a successful base defense is to take as many kills as you possibly can while keeping your base alive for as long as possible. So the longer your base is alive, the more kills your base gets. Meaning, if you can keep a base defense going for 10 minutes being active while wiping enemy artillery and wiping enemy units, you will get a lot more kills than just dropping your base somewhere on a field where there's a lot of enemies and they'll just wipe your base in one clean shot and you don't do anything active on your base defense. So next up, there's two kind of base defenses that you want to, or that you can do. You can do a passive base defense, which is the one I just described. You airdrop your base, drop it in, set it up just like I have it right here, and then you let it sit until it gets killed, and you don't do anything actively on your own. That's a passive base defense, and it gets you the minimal amount of kills. Some people will get 100, some will get 500. Maybe if you're very, very lucky and have very good defense research, and your enemies don't have very good army groups, you'll get maybe 1,000 kills, but you won't get much more than that, because someone's talking in the game. Because you won't get much more kills than that, because you won't do as much damage, and the enemies can take out your base really quickly if they're allowed to have their artillery and other units up that will kill your base easily. So you have to also know your main enemies on the field when you're playing. Let me just mute this stuff here. That's really annoying. There you go. So when you have your units on when there's enemy units on the field, your main enemy unit is going to be Arty, both Martyr Arty and the Liberty Arty, but also it can be bombers. Bombers will also take out your base quite easily if you're only your base and you only have a weak fighter against some maxed out bombers that won't do very much. But really your main ground force enemy is going to be artillery, and it's going to be rocket trucks. So what you want to do is, when you have nowadays, by the way, the meta on a game is to use army groups. So you're probably going to have army groups consisting of 15 units. Most of the time people like to run a consistent type of unit, meaning you'll see 15 units, 15 troops of super heavies, and then followed by 15 troops of arty, and then a lot of people like to run 15 troops of medium tanks in a group as well. So when they do that, there's going to be a whole front line in front of your base of super heavies that will soak all of the damage. There will be a medium army group sitting behind your base on like a pretty much the half circle around your base that will take up any of your allied field fighters coming from any of your, in this case, theoretical allies sitting next to your base. So that means the only thing that you can really do is to do base pop outs. So the way you do base pop outs is if you have any gaps. So let's say the enemy fill this spot and this spot and this spot. You can still send out your arty on this spot, and you can shoot arty 5 grids down. I have Antonina on this one, so 5 grids down. You can shoot arty from over here, and you can pop it out here as well. You can shoot arty 5 grids from over here, meaning that even if there's a group of super heavies blocking the immediate front of your base, you can still shoot past that. What you can do until the super heavies are done setting up and have actually hit your base, so you can move your arty behind it. Even if there's mediums close, you can most of the time, if they're 2 grids away, they'll be slow at responding. You can put it out, let it shoot, and then sit the arty back in when the mediums come close. When you pop it out next time, it's going to be automatically attacked, and there will be skill charge on the medium, so you have to watch out on doing that too much. But what you can do when they're attacking you is you can pop out, and when they start the attack, you want to start counting in your head. So I know that my arty has about 3.5 seconds worth of reload time, 3.42 load speed, meaning I usually count about 2 seconds because it also has a little bit of load speed buff from Eruptor. He does 10% after he's done his artillery. Oh, it doesn't show in here because, oh, well, let's see it in here. And Iru on the main skill reduces artillery load time by 10%. That's after he's done his first skill. But then it also has another passive, I believe. Maybe. No, he doesn't. That's War Machine. So War Machine has both load speed and his active skill, but he also has load speed as a secondary passive skill that just applies to his troop generally. Anyways, you're gonna count about 2 seconds, and then you can pop out the arty, and you can target which one you want to hit because it's not gonna hit immediately when it pops out. It's not gonna keep shooting, but it's gonna remember that it's loaded for 2 seconds. Now you push it out, so there's 1 second left. You target it at one of the arty and behind the lines. You see it shoot. And as you see it shoot, when it's done shooting, you pop it into the base again. It'll be safe. It'll start a new load, and you do it again 2 seconds after. Boom. You can also do an alternated version of this. You want to basically let it shoot one time, so wait the 3.5 seconds and let it shoot, and then you're gonna wait again another 2 seconds. So total, you're gonna wait about 5-6 seconds. Then you pull it out, and then you aim it at an enemy unit, and it will have the skill charge as well. So a skill charge in Warpath takes 8 seconds. The only time it doesn't is if you have Tip of the Spear, Tots. So if you have Tip of the Spear, his main skill or his skill will reduce the time by 1.5 seconds. But that's only for his skill, not for the main officer skill or for the secondary officer skill if he's main. So it means you're going to have 8 seconds of skill charge all the time. So you want your arty to pop out right before the 8 seconds. I know I said pop it out on 6 seconds, but you want to make sure that you don't let it pop out and then the skill is either wasted already because you've waited too long, or it takes too long to charge up and it'll get targeted by an enemy unit if the enemy have mediums behind your lines over here. So anyways, when your troop then pops out, it's gonna target you need to target one of the enemy artillery, then it will shoot a skill charge from Eruptor, and you want to wait a half a second, and then it'll shoot Antonina's skill charge. I have Antonina as my secondary, so it'll shoot her skill charge, and you pop it in again. And then you either wait again for the 3 seconds, 2 to 3 seconds, or you want to wait the 5 to 6 seconds. So when you do this, you're going to take a lot more artillery kills, and when you take artillery kills, artillery are the main enemy of your base, of course, because they have see, look at this, 500,000 structural damage almost, and you have another 250% structural damage boost. And even on Liberty, if the enemy has Liberty, they do more structural damage and they do more structural damage percentage as well. So, and then of course, also depending on what officers they have, because obviously you have um, Eruptor, who will have a firepower boost, a damage to fortification boost, um, even the damage coefficient on his skill. Antonina with damage coefficient, even more skill damage. Um, you get more firepower, and you get officer skill damage. So a lot of damage buffs on the arty generally. So when you pop it out and you kill the enemy arty, they're gonna do a lot less, and it's gonna take a lot longer to kill your base. Meaning, as we said in the start of the video, the longer your base stays up, the more kills you're gonna get. So if we want to look at some of the practices or some of the good time, I don't even think I have a good battle record actually. 102. I haven't defended my base for a long time, but we can maybe look at my favorites. I have this one. So on 25%, and my base was up for 4 minutes and 45 seconds. They did 25% damage. I took 2,000 kills for 284 kills on my base. My base did some damage, of course, but that's not anything special. You can see I sent out my medium, and a lot of my medium got killed. I sent out my arty. Some of my arty got killed. This is probably because the enemy didn't target my base, so when my arty popped out, it would have been shot instantly. My anti-tank gun took a lot of kills, and my other two units are just there for extra kills, extra damage. So they're just kind of sitting in my base. I don't ever pop these out. I don't either with my arty or anti-tank gun. But essentially, when you do pop out, you do leave your arty vulnerable, so you need to watch out and make sure that the enemy are shooting, the enemy artillery are shooting, and the enemy mediums are shooting around you. Because when you pop out, if they're not shooting, you're going to target an enemy unit, they're going to instantly target you, and you're going to have losses. So next thing you want to do is, if you have a heavy or a medium or a super heavy even, you want to always send that out to target the enemy artillery. The second they start to target anything that is not your base, so any enemy unit or your unit popping out, they will lose their skill charge. But if they're on 5 second skill charge, you send out your medium, they'll target your medium, you immediately send it back. If you reach it back in time, they've lost 5 seconds of skill time, and that's 5 seconds that your base has gained, where they basically haven't taken off like 10% of your base health. So then obviously also, if they've just shot a skill charge, you can send your medium out. It's very fast, obviously, to shoot at some of them. It will have skill charge as well, your medium, since it's fighting in the base. It'll come out with some skill charge. You can send it out, shoot an enemy arty, maybe pop a skill off, and then move it back inside of your base before it's all wiped out. And this way, you'll also target some more enemy artillery. Do the same with a super heavy. Since a super heavy doesn't do a lot of damage, it's more of a damage soaker. But essentially, if you imagine that your base has, let's see, how much health does my base actually have if it's killed 100%? Do I have any 100%? No, I don't. Okay. Well, 25% is 57 million, so it's about 250 million or something, 220 million, I'd guess. So with 220 mil durability on the base, basically if you send out your super heavy, when it's sent out, it's also gonna take quite a lot of damage. So you can see my medium took a 32.7 million damage. That's 32.7 million damage that didn't go into my base immediately, meaning even though my base took damage, my medium did too, and it took some of the damage that the arty would have done to my base away from my base, meaning my base could stay up longer and again get even more kills. And obviously the more kills you get, the weaker the enemies are going to be, so the longer it's going to take. So for every kill you get, it's better. And then the next thing is also you can try and retarget your ATG if it's not targeting arty, or if it's not targeting super heavies. Basically, it's only really good at targeting super heavies. So if it's not targeting super heavies, you can try and pop it out and then quickly pop it back in. Not target it at anything, just pop it out, pop it back in. And it might reset to a super heavy where all your other units are targeting anything else. This means that your ATG will do the what it's supposed to do, which is kill the super heavies. Um, the super heavies are gonna be always the damage soakers for your base. So the faster you can get rid of them, the faster and the more reliably your arty will target any other enemy arty. So when they're attacking your base, it's pretty essential that the targeting works in a random pattern. You can manipulate your units into targeting enemies, but you can manually put them out and target enemies. But you can't do a reliable reset where you put it out and put it back in, and then you know it's going to target enemy arty instead of super heavies or something attacking your base. So that means the more units are attacking your base, the less of a chance there is to target any given unit around your base. So if you look at it as a 100% thing, you have 100 units attacking your base, there's going to be 1% chance of attacking any one of those units. But the second, if 50 of those units die, it's going to be 2% chance of attacking any one of the enemy units around you. And then suddenly, that number is gonna grow exponentially, so that at one unit left, it's 100% that you're gonna target that one unit that's attacking your base. So the more units of artillery you can also take away, the more of a chance there is for other artillery to be targeted by your base again, which is basically free kills since your base does most of the damage that can be done in this game. Another aspect would be that you can obviously always put out Liberty bombers on artillery if you have some max bombers. You can always put up fighter planes around your area to make sure that enemy fighter planes don't get near or enemy bombers don't get near. If you wipe one side of your base, you can try and make it so that another base can drop in close to you. They can have their arty behind their base or in front of their base, trying to target anyone in front of your base or at a distance. What I would do if I was an ally behind my base here. So my base, we know, fills 2 spots out. So an ally can drop on this spot down here. Let's just mark it with the medium. An ally can drop on this spot down here with his base, meaning he can pop his arty out to here, and from here, and he can pop it out instantly, obviously. From here, he can target any unit within this area, within this distance of my base, meaning, if he pops in here, someone pops in here, suddenly you have 2, even over here, 3 arty that can all shoot at the mediums behind your base, take out more units, so again, your base can target the arty in front of it. So that's how you can really effectively, in theory, do a lot of base defense, do really effective base defenses. You want to be looking at taking out as many artillery as possible, staying alive as long as possible, and really, yeah, just trying to, be very active in your defense. There's a lot of very active choices that you can always do to improve your defense in Warpath. So that was the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope you give it a like and a comment on anything that we can improve on, or if you just thought you really liked it. Have a great day.